And we believe in them so much, and we picked this guy right here to be our field chairman of the entire company. He just so happens to be the #1 leader in the whole entire San Diego area, and he decided to leave good to get great, and I'm so proud of him and what he's doing. To give an example, you heard my story about making $1 million a month. This guy right here is on pace to make $1 million a month this year, and he's only in his 20s still. Just so you know, and that's real. That's personal net income in your pocket, right? And he won't talk about the money, so I'll talk about it for him. He just bought a $5 million home in San Diego overlooking the golf course. We just got back from there. Who was there today at Matt's house? Right? Just incredible. This man has changed his life times 10, but it's not about that. It's the husband he is to his amazing wife. It's the father he is to his amazing 2 daughters. And it's the man he is. He's a man of faith, and he's an amazing leader. And I'm so glad we picked him to be the field chairman of GFI. So please help me welcome our last speaker, Mr. Matthew Welsh.
Who was going to close out tonight's event, they said, who's the shortest person? And so they called me. So welcome. Glad to be with you guys today. But no, hey, I remember getting into the industry about 9.5 years ago. I was 19 years old. I had my PhD, my public high school diploma, and I was fresh out of high school. I remember coming to an event just like this. And I got a phone call on a Friday evening. They said, hey, listen, Matt, your brother is working in the financial services industry, and he would like to have you out to support him to a financial event, to an event where they're going to talk about who we are, what we do for clients, and we were wondering if you were able to come. And I said, absolutely, I'll come to support my brother. I'll do anything to support my brother. The same way that a lot of you guys came to support a friend here tonight or a family member here tonight. By the way, can we give you a round of applause for that? I think it's a big deal. And he said, oh, by the way, do me a favor. We're a financial firm, so can you please make sure to have a suit and tie? And I was 19 years old, didn't have a background in anything like I mentioned. I said, of course I'll come in a suit and tie. The problem is I didn't have a suit and tie. So I went to my roommate, Steven, that night. I said, Steven, brother, I need to borrow your suit and tie. And he goes, Matt, have you ever bought a suit before or worn a suit before? I said, no. He said, well, it's tailored to the body, and I'm 6'4". He said, it's not going to work. I said, I have no other option. I can't afford to go get a suit. I don't have any money. I was like, I need to borrow your suit. I said, let's just try it on. So I put on his suit, and I took his sleeves with my T-Rex arms, and I took his sleeves, and I folded it up, and I took one of those little pins, and I pinned it on the inside, right? And I tried to make it so you couldn't see the little metal bar. And so I said, all right, now let's put on the pants. And obviously I didn't know how to put on a suit because I put on the jacket before the pants. And so then I put on the pants, and the same thing happened. And I looked down, and I was wearing pants and shoes as well. And so I had to take the suit, and I rolled it up into my suit, and then I pinned it once again. I said, Steven, thank you. Now where are your dress shoes? He said that. This is where I draw the line, right? I said, Steven, I can't wear Nikes with a suit. I need to have some dress shoes. And so we went through his closet, and we found an old pair of dress shoes, and so I put on his dress shoes, and I was about the sharpest dressed clown you've ever seen in your entire life, right? And so I go to this financial seminar, I'm 19 years old, and most people think, oh, he's going to stand out because of his attire. That's not where I stood out. I stood out because I was 19, going on 12 in my appearance, and everyone there was in their 50s and 60s. And so I'm walking through this seminar, meeting people in what we call our meet and greet, like what you guys did earlier this evening. And I'm meeting everyone, and everyone thought someone brought their son to work that day. Right? They brought their son to business that day. And so I'm meeting everyone. I said, all right, I got to be strategic here. I want to impress these people. I want them to like me. Right? Obviously, I'm not the sharpest guy here, obviously. I'm not the oldest person here. I don't have any experience. I need to impress them with my knowledge. The problem is I didn't have any knowledge. And so I was scanning for my moment the entire time, right? And so I'm sitting there, I'm scanning for my moment, and all of a sudden they said, does anyone know what a 401k is? I was like, thank you, Lord. This is my moment. I've played sports my whole life. So he goes, like, why does that have to do with it? It doesn't. That's the problem. And so, sir, I raised my hand with all the confidence in the world, thinking that this was my moment to impress all of them. They said, does anyone know what a 401k is? I said, I do. They said, well, what is it? I said, I think I ran a couple of those last year in high school. And everybody was laughing, and they thought I was telling a joke, and they thought I was funny, and then they realized that I was being dead serious. And then their laugh went from like a laugh of support, like he's funny, to a laugh of he's dead serious right now. Like, is he okay? Right? And so I tell you that story because that kid, that 19-year-old kid that came dressed as a clown, that 19-year-old kid that had no background in finance, that 19-year-old kid that embarrassed himself in front of everyone, went on to make 6 figures within his first 12 months. And turned 6 figures not into a monthly income, but into a bad week. And so I tell you this not to be boastful, I tell you this because I want you to understand what's possible. I remember coming in, and one of the things that motivated me, one of the things that drove me, was I needed to win for my family. Does anybody have someone in their family that's struggling? Is anyone having someone in their family that maybe they're fighting for, maybe they've been working for years, maybe they're going through a hard time, and you just want to be able to take care of them? That's what it was for me. I actually grew up in Bay Park right here. And I had a dad who was battling cancer. He battled cancer for 14 years before he passed away. He was told 5 times he had 3 months to live. And I remember getting home one night, it was my first month in business, and I get home and my mom is bawling her eyes out. And the reason she's crying and the reason she's bawling is because my dad used to go to chemotherapy in the morning and then go to work in construction in order to try to make enough money so he can keep food on the table. And I remember getting home that night, my mom's bawling her eyes out and she's crying. And I go, Mom, what's going on? What's wrong? She goes, Matt, I don't know where your dad is and he's not picking up the phone. And within a split second later, I remember turning around and watching my dad collapse. He opened the front door and he just fell. And me and my older brother Noah had to go pick him up. We dragged him and we carried him and we laid him in bed. And so that next morning, I went into the office because I made a decision, as long as it was legal, moral, and ethical, I was going to do whatever it takes for my dad and not have to worry about anything ever again. And so I went into the office, I said, Alex, the person who was training me, I said, I need to earn income. I need to make some money. I need to help some people. I said, where do I find clients? How do I help people? I said, I need to earn income because I have a family that's struggling. And he looked at me and said, Matt, I just need you to trust me. And it was difficult because I met him 3 weeks prior. So it's hard to build trust in 3 weeks because trust is earned, it's not given. And so I had to have blind faith. And I had blind faith that what he was telling me was exactly what I needed to do. I said, what do I need to do? He said, if you follow our system, you follow our process, if you follow our training system, we'll teach you everything that you need to know A to Z. I said, even at 19 years old, where people have had retirement accounts longer than I've been alive, like they're going to listen to me? He said, I just need you to trust me. And I did. And so that first 12 months, I went on to make a 6-figure income, like I mentioned. I took my dad on a trip to Puerto Rico. He was in remission. Took him on a trip to Puerto Rico with the company. And we get back from Puerto Rico, and I said, Dad, from here on out, you're not allowed to work. He goes, what are you talking about? I said, from here on out, I'm going to pay you a salary. I'm going to take care of the bills. I'm going to take care of the expenses. I'm going to take care of the property taxes. I'm going to replace Mom's income so that way she can continue to drive you up to LA where the City of Hope was, which is a cancer hospital. I said, I'm going to take care of everything financially. I got us. And my dad looked at me and goes, Matt, I'm not going to take money from my son. You're going to have a family one day. You're going to want to buy a home one day. You need to save your money. I'm not going to take money from my son. I said, Dad, if my car were to break down right now, you would have every tool in your garage to fix it, correct? He goes, yeah. I said, I want you to know that right now your car is broken down. And I just happen to have the tool to fix it. I shared with you the story because 3 months later, my dad goes into a checkup. And his cancer numbers went from 30 plus, which if you come from the medical field, they stop tracking your cancer numbers after that point because there's really no reason to track them. And his cancer numbers went from 30 plus to 9.
Wow.
And I'm a believer, so I know it's not the only reason. But the opposite of stress is energy, and the opposite of energy is stress. And so when I was able to remove financial stress, emotional stress, physical stress, he had a lot more energy to fight the fight, and that gave me the opportunity to have another 5 years with my hero that I don't think I would have if somebody could give a 19-year-old boy a shot. That we have is because when I look into an audience like this, I see a whole bunch of 19-year-old boys who need to save their dad. And it might not be your dad. Maybe it's your mom. Maybe it's a loved one. Maybe it's a child that's being bullied into school and you need to put them into a better school. I don't know what it is for you. But for me, when I show up to these events, that's what I see. I see someone that needs to save someone in their family's lives. And for me not to bring my best, and for me not to give them an opportunity to do something great with their life is a disservice to the gifts that God's given us to do something great in this world.
Amen.
And so tonight, as I go into some of this information, my challenge is for you to open your mind. Open your mind. Because your current thought processes, your current way of thinking, your current level of knowledge is what's led to the current life that you have. Which means that if you want better, you need to get better. If you want more, then you need to know more. Because your thought process and what you know has generated the reality. And so if we don't open our minds to the information, you can miss out on the opportunity in the lifetime of the opportunity. And they say that you typically only get 2 life-changing opportunities in your life. And typically the first one has already passed. And so the question is if this is the second, are you going to miss out on the opportunity and potentially miss something that can alter the direction of not only your life, but the next 6, 7, 8 generations? Because with our business model, you're not just building something that is going to pass on one day when you pass on. You're building something that you can pass on to your children. Because we're teaching people not just how to build generational wealth through our products and services. We're teaching people how to build generational income through building a business that they can pass on to their kids one day. Does that excite anyone?
Yeah.
So let me give you an idea of why there's never been a better time. How many of you guys have ever heard of the baby boomer generation?
Yeah.
Anybody? How many of us in the room are baby boomers? Anybody? All right. Hey, it's okay. It's okay. So here's the deal. They say anybody who could predict what the baby boomers would need and want in a product and service before they would go on and need and want that service could do very, very well. You know, in business, there's something called supply and demand. If there's a demand, you supply with quality, you're probably going to have a little bit of success. And so what happened was, before 1946, men went to war, and when they came back from war, they missed their wives. And so all of a sudden, storks were dropping babies off all over the place. Right? The storks were dropping babies off. So there was more babies than anything else. Over 78 million children were born. And so obviously, when there's 78 million kids, anything they touch explodes from a business model. So what did they touch? Gerber baby food. How many of you guys have ever heard of Gerber baby food? Gerber baby food went from 1 million jars per week being sold to 2 million jars per day being sold. Let me say it again. They went from 1 million a week to 2 million a day. You know why? They supplied a demand. And then what took off? Toys. Well, why is that? There's 78 million kids. Parents, what are our kids always wanting? Toys, right? We took my daughter to the store the other day and we were going through, and all of a sudden we turned around and she had her arms full of like all these different toys. We're like, where did you get that? Right? And so they're always wanting toys. Then what's about fast food? Why? It was cheap, easy, you can drive up and get it. McDonald's revolutionized the food industry, and then all the other industries copied. And then from there became cars. The 2-seaters and the 4-seater muscle cars were no longer fitting the families of 5, 6s, and 7s. And so there was a company called Chrysler that was on the verge of filing bankruptcy. And what they did is they recruited a gentleman by the name of Lee Iacocca from Ford. And he came to Chrysler and said, hey, what do the baby boomers need and want in a vehicle? They created the minivan, and they went from almost bankrupt to the best production year in history up until that point. Do you know why? They supplied a demand. Then it was real estate, and now it's retirement. Every 11 seconds, a baby boomer is turning 65 years old. Every 11 seconds. December 31st of 2030, the final baby boomer will turn 65 years old. They accumulated $68 trillion, just the baby boomer generation. And the problem is that the traditional industry doesn't care about that generation as much as they should. And one of the reasons is because the traditional industry only focuses on the wealthiest 5%. So if you don't have $1 million ready to invest, sometimes it's the lowest is maybe $250,000. They won't even talk to you. How many of us have a family member with $1 million? How many of us, our mom has $1 million? Well, then guess what? Everyone else, your family's not getting taken care of. And that's a problem. And so all of a sudden, all these families are being left behind. $68 trillion is changing hands. And I know we go around a trillion like it's nothing because our country is in so much debt. Well, let me just explain to you how big a trillion is. Do you know how long ago 1 trillion seconds is? 30,000 BC. And I'm not talking before COVID, I'm talking before Christ. Okay? 30,000 BC, which means you need to save $68 per second from 30,000 years before Christ was born to up until this moment to have the amount of money that's exchanging hands. And the problem is this money is exchanging hands, but our industry is getting smaller because 27% of the industry is baby boomers. So what's happening is demand is getting bigger, but the industry is getting smaller, creating the greatest opportunity in the history of financial services, which is the most highly compensated industry in the world, which is the largest industry in the world, because every other industry in the world has to go through this industry to exist. And so we're in a window of time that if you can be at the right place at the right time with the right company, a company that's revolutionizing the way that financial services are distributed because we streamlined the process, giving us the ability to protect families in 10 minutes. You have the opportunity to be a part of something that's never been done before. And so to give you an idea of what we're looking for, we're looking to expand, we're looking to grow. And we're obviously not looking for everyone, and not every single person can qualify to work with us. But let's say you did qualify to work with us and you could pass a background check because it is the financial industry. There's 6 different ways for you to earn income with us. The first one is personal income, which basically means that you sit down with family, you help them better their financial situation, whether it's retirement accounts, college funds, debt management, whatever it might be, and you're able to earn personal income. The second opportunity is agency income. How many of you guys have ever heard of real estate before? Okay? So in real estate, they have brokers and they have agents. And so let's say you decide to become a broker, an agency owner on our platform. You can develop agents just like in real estate, whereas these agents go out and distribute products. In real estate, it's distributing homes or selling homes or buying homes. You're able to earn income through agency income based on what these realtors would go do in our industries, what these financial professionals would go do. But here's the difference between us and real estate. In real estate, they have brokers and they have agents. And they want these agents to do great, yes? Yep. But what happens if these agents do too great and they also become a broker? There's no more income. You trained your competition, you taught them all of your secrets, and now you no longer earn income on anything that they do. So the way our model works is we have brokers and we have agents. And our number one goal is to help every one of these agents not just become as good, but we want them to become better. Because when they become a broker, we no longer earn agency income, we earn expansion income, which is like a franchise in reverse where they'll pay us 18% on everything that that broker does and everything that their agency does, not only now, but over the rest of their entire career. And it doesn't just stop there. As they train and develop brokers, it becomes 9%, then 6%, then 3%, 3%, 3%. Where you get that 7 generations. And that's a powerful thing. So we have a financial incentive to help people become the best version of themselves, which is very powerful. We have bonus income, which is pretty incredible, right? What was your bonus today based off last month? He's outside with his wife. It was $18,000, right? Just today, his monthly bonus. Pretty powerful. We have recurring income and renewal income. How many of us would like to earn income today based off the work we did 12 months ago? That'd be pretty powerful, right? Well, that's how we work. We help a client, and because we are servicing our client, they pay us annually to make sure that our clients are taken care of, and that's a powerful thing. The last thing is stock options and equity options. You know, like Travis Allen talked about earlier, we were going public in 7 years. And so we were offering pre-IPO, which is very powerful. The last company that did that in our industry, after they did IPO, their stock doubled 12 times after the fact. But they didn't have any marketing, they didn't have any technology, and they were running an outdated business model. So just imagine what we can do if we take financial services, we take technology, and we merge it together, creating a fintech company, giving us the ability to go public. Just imagine what that would look like for those that participated in that. That's pretty exciting, isn't it? Hey, that's exciting. Look at it and say, hey, that's exciting. That's exciting. So let me give you an idea of what it would look like to earn income on our platform. So let's say you went out and you got a license in whatever state that you live in. So obviously we're in California, so the majority of you probably live in California. So let's say you went out and passed your license here in California. The license is a couple $100, it's no big deal, and it's a tax write-off. And now all of a sudden you get that license in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and now you start sitting down with families. And let's say right out of orientation, you become an associate with our firm. What you do is you take the client's monthly contribution, you multiply by 12, which is how many months are in a year, and that gives you the annual contribution. You take your percentage, you multiply it by the annual contract, and that determines the compensation that you will receive in a 45-minute window that it took to help the client. So that means that on a $500 a month contribution, which is our average household contribution because we're dealing with retirement accounts, college funds, $200 for mom, $200 for dad, $100 college fund, whatever it might be, average household puts $500 a month in. That means that the associate right out of orientation would make $2,700. Typically what we do is with people that are at an associate level are part-time with us. They're moms that are working around their schedule, they're dads that are getting off work, helping 1 to 2 clients on an average basis, on a weekly basis, and they're able to earn additional income. Let me ask you a question. What would an extra $2,700 do for your family on a weekly basis if that was coming in? By the way, that's helping the average contribution of the client. What if the client does $2,000? You can quadruple that compensation in the same 45 minutes. Does this make sense to you?
Yeah.
And as you climb the ranks with our firm, senior associate only takes about 60 days with our firm to reach that contract. Marketing director takes about 90 days. You become an agency owner, which takes about 6 to 12 months with us. You reach our premier contract, which is 85%, which means in that same 45 minutes, you make $5,100. And so what would it look like if you helped one client a week as an agency owner with our platform? Well, that one client a week, that would pay you $265,000 a year. That's what I did at 22. And if I could do that at 22 with no background in finance, just a desire to do something great with my life and a family that needed me, can we all agree that you can do that too?
Yes.
I really believe that. I really believe that. Especially in today's era, we'll teach you, we'll train you, we have a world-class training process. And so 5,100, but this is the beautiful part about our business. Like Eric said, that if you help other people get to where they want to be, you will also get to where you want to be. And so let's say you train 6 other agents, just like in real estate, brokers and agents, and you train those 6 agents to go out there and do the exact same thing. Or they help one family a week. You will earn an agency income, an additional $14,400 per week in income. That's $84,000 a month, over $1 million per year. How many of us can use an extra $1 million? And I know what you might be thinking, how is that even possible? I remember seeing that for the first time, and I even thought it was too good to be true. And the reason I thought it was too good to be true is because I didn't understand how financial services worked. When people invest money with us, we're turning $1 into $2, and there's no overhead. So the profit margins are significantly higher. Not only that, when a client invests money with the company, and somebody has a retirement account and or a life insurance policy, how long do they typically have a retirement account and or a life insurance policy? 20, 30, 40 years. So these insurance carriers, these financial services company can afford to pay you up front because they know over the next 10, 20, 30 years, they're going to have the ability to earn great profits, and none of that money comes out of our client's pocket. Because how could it? If a client puts in $500 and I get paid $5,100, that math doesn't add up, does it? Which means that these insurance companies know that they're going to make money in the long term because of the fact that these clients are being taken care of and will be serviced, hence why they pay us renewal income as well. Is that pretty exciting or what?
Yeah.
Right? So here's the deal. You can do better than that because you can train and develop brokers. This is just if you had 6 average agents helping one client a week. So you can earn $1 million, you can do more, or you can make less. What if you could just earn what you're currently making? Whether it's $50,000, $100,000, $200,000, but it's on your own terms and on your own schedule. What if all of a sudden you place yourself in a position where you no longer had to listen to someone else, only you get to spend time with your kids? Some people had to take off work to be here tonight. What if you never had to, what if you never were in a position again where someone had their thumb on you and got to determine what an hour of your time is worth, what a year of your time is worth, what neighborhood your family lives in because of how much they pay you, what schools your children go to because they determine what neighborhood you can afford to live in. What if all of a sudden you can position yourself in a place financially where nobody else can have control over you, but you can take over and take control of your own life? That's what we want to empower you to do. And here's the deal, we're not looking for everyone, and I want to be very real with you. Right? We're looking for the right kind of person. We're looking for somebody that wants to do something big. We're looking for people that want to change their life. We're also looking for people that just want to make an extra couple $1,000s and make a difference in the lives of other people doing it. Whatever it is for you, we're okay with that. We're okay with that. Is that pretty exciting or what?
Yeah.
To potentially open up just like a franchise, but without all the franchise costs. What would that look like to work with a firm like you? Is it $5,000, $10,000? Right? I know Travis Allen, he had a franchise before. Travis, just curious, when you opened up your franchise, how much did that cost years ago? $350,000. So when we sat down with Travis and we were going over our model with him, he said, just curious, what does it cost to get involved with your firm? Is it $100,000, $200,000, $300,000? And we said $199. He said, oh, $199,000? I said, no, $199. And the reason it's $199 is because we get you pre-signed up for a course that allows you to study for your license so you can go pass it the next week. Typically, when you go to do a course in order to get licensed, it's $260 for the course outside of a model like ours because we put so much volume through it, they discount it for our agents, so we actually get it discounted at only $199. Make sense? So what that does, gets you set up on our platform, gets you into your courses, so you can start studying immediately. So I know what you might be thinking, $100,000 to $250,000? No, $199. And that's not a recurring thing, that's a one-time transaction that once again you can write off. And then now you can work on the platform and get access to everything that Eric went over earlier today. That's pretty powerful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey, that's it, $199, easy. Every listener would say, that's easy day. That's easy day. So, in closing, what we want to know is where do you see yourself starting out? Right? By being here today, every single one of you, we are willing to do a complimentary financial strategy for you. Well, we'll sit down with you, we'll review your finances, we'll look at everything. Hey, there's a lot of you that's in here that maybe you're in a perfect place financially. If that's the case, we will let you know. We will let you know. We have a fiduciary responsibility to do what's right for our clients 100% of the time. But out of the thousands of clients that I've had the opportunity to sit down with, there has never been one client that we couldn't put in a better place financially. Sometimes it was just a small little adjustment. Sometimes it was a big adjustment. Sometimes it was an overhaul. But at the end of the day, we were willing to sit down with you and do a full financial strategy for you to make sure that you can retire on time. Because let me ask you a question. How many of you guys know how much money you actually need in order to retire? Not a single hand just went up. How many of you guys have a financial professional that's guiding you through the entire process? Not a single hand went up. And then people wonder why 92% of the population is not on track to retire. Because once again, how can you go out and achieve financial success? How do you go out and win the game of money if you don't have a coach willing to teach you the rules, like what Nate talked about earlier? So we are willing to be that coach with you. And so I just want to challenge you today to be open-minded, sit down with a financial professional that we have here, get with the person who invited you, and worst case scenario, we will tell you, stay where you're at. That's the worst case scenario. That's not a bad worst case scenario, isn't it? I think that's pretty powerful. The second opportunity is becoming an agent here with our firm. And as an agent, there's multiple strategies here where you become a revenue sharing partner. Or maybe you're in real estate, maybe you're a CPA, maybe you're an accountant, maybe you're a tax advisor, and you are constantly dealing with clients all of the time that could benefit from the services that we offer. Well, if you obtain a license, which is a very simple process, week or two to get, all of a sudden you refer clients over to us that you've already held, we will split you on every last transaction, giving you the ability to earn additional income. Isn't that pretty powerful? Right? How many of us know somebody in real estate, they're a tax attorney, CPA, whatever it might be? Well, guess what? They've already built that trust with a client. So if you've already built that trust with a client, why not make sure that they get protected in all areas and you grow your income in the process? And once again, not a single penny comes out of that client's pocket. Pretty powerful, yes or yes?
Yeah.
We have referral agents where you can once again refer people over to us and we'll be able to compensate you on the clients that you refer over to us. Because how many of us come across somebody here and then that maybe they just need some financial help? How many of us talk with a coworker all the time and I just don't know what to do? Well, if you refer these people over to us, we will compensate you for doing so. We also have part-time, where you can start part-time with us, get your feet wet. And then typically what we do is we have you start part-time, get your feet wet, and as your income with us doubles or triples over the next 60 to 90 days, we'll have you fire your boss and come full-time with us, where you can earn an incredible income with our firm, 6 figures, multiple 6 figures as an agent, and or you can be the owner, where you have the opportunity to build a business on our platform, and not just build a business that you get to profit from, and not just build a business that you get to benefit from, but build a business that you can pass on to your kids. You know, I'm a firm believer that if you're going to work hard anyways, might as well own it at the end. Can we all agree on that? Like if you're going to work your butt off the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years, like if you're going to work hard, might as well keep it at the end, rather than work hard and then I'll give it to someone else. Because you can either build your dream or someone else will hire you to build theirs. The question is, which route are you going to choose? Are you going to continue to build someone else's dream that their children will benefit from? Or are you going to build your dream where your children get to benefit from? The choice is yours. And so I want to challenge you to get with the person who invited you here today. And so this is what I want you to do. I would like you to pull out your phone. And I want you to scan that top QR code. And so there's someone that invited you here today that believed in you. They saw something in you. The fact that they would want to be in life with you, because I want to be very real with you. We don't look for everyone. I've had a lot of people that came to me and I turned them away because they didn't mesh with our culture, our environment, our brotherhood, our sisterhood, our family environment. That they didn't mesh with it. And so we turned them away. But someone invited you here today because they think you can be a positive fit with our firm. And so if you are excited about what we have going and you don't want to miss out on the opportunity, in the lifetime of the opportunity, I want you to scan that top barcode. And I want you to text the person who invited you out today. I said, hey, can you send me your referral code? Because I would like to get introduced to the company. Or they can also give you more information by scanning the bottom code. So I want you to scan the top code, and then I want you to text the person who invited you, and I want you to ask them what their referral code is. And this will give you the opportunity to get set up on our platform where we can start teaching you and we can start training you on everything that you need to potentially have success in our industry as well. Does that sound good? Good? All right, all that stand? Fantastic. Well, hey. Thank you guys so much for coming out. We're doing a city tour, a 30-city tour. And what's crazy is a week and a half ago, we said, hey, let's throw San Diego in here. So in a week and a half, we decided to throw this event. This was the only venue in all of San Diego County that was available this evening. I kid you not. We called 45 different places. This was the only venue, and this was their only space, and we had 200 people registered, and 400 people showed up today.